today we're talking to Amir Heshmatpour, the executive chairman and president of NeOnc Technologies Holdings, a NASDAQ-listed microcap biotechnology company. The symbol is NTHI. They're a clinical stage biotech company advancing transformative treatments for brain and central nervous system cancers. And today, he is pleased to announce NeOnc's recent execution of a sub-license agreement with its Abu Dhabi onshore operating subsidiary, NeuroCare, a key milestone towards the company's $50 million strategic partnership with Quasar Investment. Now, this agreement, which covers the UAE and the broader GCC, which is the Gulf Cooperation Council, including regions like Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia, along with the MENA regions, which is known as the Middle East and North Africa, reflects NeOnc's commitment to expanding its footprint in delivering life-saving therapies to patients worldwide. NeOnc was also recently included in the Russell Microcap Index, a milestone that aligns this company's broader capital market strategy to attract institutional capital and drive passive fund flows and enhance market liquidity. Let's welcome Amir to the show. Amir, it's a pleasure to have you again. And this is very exciting news that you have that you want to kind of get out there that we should talk about so that investors understand where you're going. So why don't you let us know what's happening?
Thank you, Kenny. Good to see you again. So we just signed the sub-license agreement just a couple of days ago. We announced it. We signed the license between USC, Keck Medical School, and Stephen Center for Innovation, and our holding entity in the Middle East, MENA and NeuroCure. So that was a big contingency that we had to overcome. There's a couple more contingencies that we feel that should be finalized hopefully this week. The definitive agreement for the Quasar investing $50 million in us is being circulated for signature. So yeah, we're excited. We're excited to get this deal off the ground and push our phase 2 trials to completion.
Your phase 2 trials. So tell us about where those trials are in terms of the types of cancers and how they are proceeding.
So we have 2 phase 2 assets in trials. We had announced earlier this year that we will be completing enrollment by September. I believe we're going to be a little bit ahead of that schedule. We should be fully enrolled by September or sooner. This is for patients that are suffering with brain cancer for GBM, and we're enrolling grade 4 and grade 3 patients in our enrollments.
Right. So GBM, so the audience understands, is glioblastoma, isn't it?
Correct.
Which is typically a very, very difficult cancer to cure. Am I right?
It is extremely difficult cancer to cure. My partner is Dr. Thomas Chen. He's given his life to this mission. He's currently a neurosurgeon at Keck Medical Hospital. He's also a professor of neuro-oncology at the Keck Medical School, and he also has a PhD. He overlooks our PhD team in the labs at USC. We have an
go ahead.
We have an incredible partnership with USC. So we are blessed to have that partnership at that school.
So talk a little bit about, because I think the technology, the delivery system for this drug, I think is amazing, something that's brand new, that is part of what the trial is. So explain to the audience what that is, because I think it's fascinating.
So we have the first mover advantage for our delivery mechanism. We have 177 patents worldwide. All the patents are from USC. Dr. Chin and our team developed those over the years that he's been at USC. And so it's a non-invasive delivery mechanism. You put a device over your nose, and it's an inhalation, non-invasive inhalation system that is able to bypass the blood-brain barrier directly to the tumor in the brain.
Goes directly to the tumor in the brain. I think it's fascinating. As I learned more about this in our last interview, it's very curious to me for a number of reasons. But I think that's a fascinating technology. And you are, am I correct in saying that NeOnc is the first one to have that type of technology?
We're the first company to deliver intranasal delivery for brain cancer. That is correct. And we have the IP and the moat to protect that delivery mechanism. So we see down the road for us to be taking other drugs for CNS disease that are currently standard of care and delivering them much better, with much less side effects and much more safer.
Right. And so now you are in, what do you say, phase 2 trial in one, phase 1 in one, and phase 2 in another?
We have 4 trials currently, 2 in phase 2 and 2 in phase 1.
And the phase 2 trials now, once they advance from 1, they go into phase 2. So now, when do you expect the phase 2 trials to complete?
We're going to push to have the FDA readout by year end or by first quarter of 2026. So our binary effect for a biotech deal, we have no revenues, no earnings. Everything's about access to capital and science. And we expect that binary effect to take place sometimes before the year end or first quarter of 2026.
And I think what's also interesting here is that the listeners should understand this. All these trials are FDA compliant. While they're taking place in other parts of the world, you are operating under FDA compliance, correct?
All FDA compliance. We're currently in about 10 to 12 locations across U.S. We're expanding our footprint to Middle East, as you disclosed here shortly. And then we're also opening up about 30 hospitals throughout India that are all US FDA compliance sites. So we're going to really aggressively.
I think it's going to be a very interesting story to watch. Ever since you and I did our first interview there last week at the NASDAQ, and I learned more about what NeOnc does. I think it's a fascinating story, and I think people, this type of treatment, this type of cancer treatment, it's cutting edge, it's brand new, it's exciting to watch to see how this goes. I'm excited to see where this goes at NeOnc, and I think this partnership now that you have, explain a little bit more just so people understand the relationship between Quasar and NeOnc.
So Quasar is a large family office. They manage approximately $3.3 billion assets under management. 99% of their assets are partnerships with the UAE government. And that part of the world is diversifying away from your legacy oil and gas and real estate assets into biotech, medtech, and tech, as you saw in President Trump's visit to the Middle East. We are fortunate to have this partnership. The deal structured very wisely. They're buying approximately 1.4 million shares at $25 a share. When we check off all the contingencies, which I feel that, like I said earlier, the definitive deal should be signed sometimes within the next few days till next week. And we will announce that. That was part of the 5 contingencies that we announced with the agreement. And then we will start the trials with in that part of the world with a entity called IRIS M42. It's a Mubadala entity, which is one of the largest sovereign wealth funds over there. And UAE has been very, very wise, have they structured these clinical trials in that part of the world. They've brought in Cleveland Clinic to start the trials under US FDA protocol. And we have a significant partnership with Cleveland Clinic. They're one of our largest sites. Dr. Pierre Boom sits on our scientific board of directors. So stars lined up for us with this deal, and we looked at the opportunity and took advantage of this opportunity.
Yeah, I think that's important to know that Cleveland Clinic, which is a major health organization here in the United States, has partnered up with you. I think that's a key part of this story anyway. And as I look forward to seeing how this develops, I'd be happy to do this again with you, in a couple of months to see where this has gone. Now, you did put out a press release yesterday or this morning. Yesterday, I think it came out, but it did announce kind of this process that we just talked about. But I would imagine in the days ahead, once it becomes all completely finalized, there'll be another press release. Yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest steps will take place. I'm optimistic it'll probably take place if we do our magic. It'll take place maybe today. We'll go sign. It'll be disclosed tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's the definitive agreement with Kazar.
Yeah.
Just crossing their T's, dotting their I's, fine tuning things between Norton Rose, our legal team, and Manette. And we've brought on Morgan Stanley to be the custodian of the 1.4 million shares. They're doing their KYCs and onboarding. The Middle East office of Morgan Stanley is doing their due diligence on this transaction. So I'm hoping by next week we will announce the definitive deal.
Right. Right. Well, I look forward to that. I think it's very exciting. The space certainly is exciting. The treatment, your new treatment schedule, the way that you're doing it, the way you're delivering it is exciting. You got a patent on that. So it's going to be very interesting to watch your company grow and your company expand into the space. So investors should understand that this is a NASDAQ listed stock. They are in the Russell Microcap Index. The symbol is NTHI, and you can find it on NASDAQ. Amir, it is a pleasure to talk to you. I look forward to doing this with you again in the near future.
Thank you so much, Kenny. Thank you for your time.
Always a pleasure. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.